And welcome back inside the cave on this chilly Tuesday morning. And, of course, every Tuesday at 7:25, Tom Crawford from the Crawford Podcasting Network stops by to talk Michigan athletics. And, Tom, we got a big one coming up tonight as number 3 Michigan taking on number 5 Nebraska, 7 p.m. on Peacock. You will be there covering the game.
Yeah, part one, as Dusty May calls it, a monster week, he called it. This opportunity against 20-0 Nebraska, who I believe is, number 5 or whatever?
Yep.
Against Michigan. Nebraska is one of 3 remaining undefeated teams. There's Arizona, which really held off BYU. BYU made a late run last night, and it was a 3-point win for Arizona. And then Miami of Ohio in the MAC.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, so, but this is going to be an interesting challenge, and Michigan's got to look at, they can't think about the rival game with Michigan State because Nebraska is really, really good. Fred Hoiberg is a tremendous coach, and he's got a coach on the floor. His name is Sam Hoiberg, his son, who plays close to 40 minutes a game. He's on the court all the time. And Price Sanford, a transfer from Iowa, is a great shooter. This team does the kind of semi-break stuff. They shoot threes, they run a little bit and shoot threes off of that, and they're very accurate, and they cut really well. It looks like a kind of a training film on their offensive scheme. And I watched them Saturday. They struggled in the first half. They're down 6 in Minnesota up at the barn, and then they end up winning by 19. So they can score in bunches just like Michigan can.
Well, Tom, what do you think? Can Michigan beat this Nebraska team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm calling for a split. I want a sweep this week, obviously, but I think they win tonight, and I think they fall in a close one on Friday night to Michigan State because I think that's got split written all over it, home court for both Michigan State and Michigan in terms of winning those games. But I just think I just think the timing is right. I mean, Nebraska is the undefeated team. Michigan is flat out due for a complete game. I mean, let's be real. They've played well in spurts, and the good news is Yaxel Lindenborg is starting to get more healthy. That calf injury seems to be simmered down a little bit, and also Ellie Cadeau at point guard seems to be pulling together a little bit. So they got a lot of things going for them tonight, but damn, they got to hit their free throws. I mean, you can't miss 10 free throws down the stretch, and they got to defend consistently and box out consistently, and that's the word consistently has not been really prevalent with this team lately.
Well, Tom, we talked, I think, even last week that the 5 teams in the league, top 5 ranked teams in the league, have kind of separated themselves from the back end. Purdue, a little bit strange, suffered I think it was a home loss to Illinois.
Yeah, they lost two games. I mean, when I got back from what was this? The games are coming in clusters. Oh, the Indiana game. I watched Purdue lose at UCLA. Yeah, oh God, poor Illinois. They got to go to Mackey on Saturday and face a steaming hot Purdue team. And Illinois, with a 46-point effort from a freshman, win the game. I mean, it's crazy, but you could draw a lot. I look at those standings, and you could go 10 deep, and there'll probably be 10 NCAA bids coming out of this league. It's that good. Yeah,
UCLA has really perked up as well. They've all of a sudden started winning some games, both on the road and at home. Wisconsin, kind of a mysterious team. They seem to
Boy, they were hot. Yeah, they were hot. And then they lose that game at home to SC. Yeah. Well, I mean, that didn't make sense.
Yeah, but there's going to be it looks like a 5-team race. I don't think Purdue's going to go away with a 20-game conference schedule. But Illinois, boy, the freshman that they've picked up is good. And I watched State on Saturday. They just demolished Maryland. And Maryland is struggling. I think one of their better players is out. But when Michigan State shoots the ball, they're awful good. And of course, I guess that can be said for every team. Same with Michigan.
It's Michigan State, and I watched on Saturday on my both those games, primarily the Nebraska game, but then watched the Michigan State with my other eye, and they just devoured. Maryland. And Maryland's obviously not very good. It's an off year. They were a great team last year, not so much this year, but they're playing physical for 40 minutes. They're getting their two bigs up front. They're getting some consistent play, and then Jeremy Fears is evolving into, I'm not saying he's Cassius Winston, but damn, he's had that direction right now the way he's playing. So they got it cooking. They're playing as best in January as I've seen them play. And Izzo's birthday is Friday night, so Michigan's got a lot going against them. But I think that's going to be a classic game. It's really going to be riveting, learning more about our two teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting the following week after these big games this week. If both Michigan and Michigan State don't have a letdown, they're probably going to be on the road. Michigan at home.
Michigan, yeah. Well, Michigan plays Penn State at home.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that should be. I'm not going to take anything for granted. I'll tell you what. When I walk into Crisler, I got from McNeese State on. I'm saying to myself, none of these are gimmies. I mean, they're all. And we're in the Big Ten, and it's a really, really tough league. And once again, that game on Friday night, it's Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper, the two bigs I was talking about. Man, I mean, they are totally in sync together as two bigs. And
well, it's also, it's a different. You very seldom see guys stay as long as they've stayed in a program.
Right.
You talk about development. Those guys 2 or 3 years ago were highly criticized because they just couldn't score.
They got butchered.
Yeah, now they're both. Kohler can extend it a little bit, and Carson Cooper he plays as hard as anybody in college basketball, in my opinion. But
I agree. And the other thing is that this goes back into rolls into football, Indiana football maturation. The Indiana football team that won the national title, their average age was 23 years old, and now we're seeing that in with the NIL monies, kids are staying longer, and then you have the old school Michigan State got these 4-year guys going old school, staying the same place, and developing under a great coach. A lot of different ways to get to the top, but Michigan State is really, really good right now.
Tom, I'm really concerned about this game tonight with Nebraska. We hear Dusty May say, "Well, we've got to clean up. We got to make more free throws. We got to cut down on the turnovers. We got to box out a little better. Our defense, is spotty. They do a lot of things well, but they can't seem to put them all together at the same time."
Yeah, that's where I talk about the complete game.
Right.
And a lot of these teams, this won't be the case with Michigan State, but a lot of these teams, like Indiana, is a classic example. They don't even try for an offensive rebound. They fire up from the perimeter, and they're in total retreat mode. It's like teams that played Michigan State in the past, because Michigan State likes to push the ball off the made basket, let alone the rebound. So, but even so, there were some long rebounds that Michigan didn't box out and get, and so they got to do all the fundamentals. And then Dusty said something interesting last week. We got to get away from. We got to focus on not being bored with doing the safe things. The safe pass, and maybe the jazzy fancy pass they're defaulting to too much, and they're turning the ball over. And the spacing in the first half against Ohio State was terrible. You had bunched up 3 guys, like, what's going on here? Nothing can happen. They're really easy to guard. And then one other caveat, Yaxel Lindenborg in our media scrum admitted we were too fired up. Now, it was Trey Burke night, and everybody was in the house, and Glenn Wright. It was a wonderful environment at Crisler. And in basketball, sometimes it's not like football where a bunch of edge rushers can just go crazy, and use their adrenaline in a positive way. You have to execute and stay focused in basketball a little bit more than football, I think. It's like being a quarterback. You can't get too fired up. I mean, you've got to just be level, and Michigan's got to strike that balance of being ready to play mentally, but focus on what needs to get done.
Tom, they've been making these same mistakes even last year, carrying over to this year. And, is this a coaching issue or is this the players just aren't picking up on it?
Well, there are a lot of new players, so there's not a lot. I mean, there's four guys that were playing last year that are this year. But, it's funny you say that, Pat, because that's what Dusty said to some of our questions that, I thought we were rolling back into last year. I just think it's an ongoing thing you have to focus on. It's a long season. It potentially could be 40 games. And this team is still learning to play together. But I thought the Ohio State game overall was pretty positive. This is not a bad team. I mean, Bruce Thornton is a really good – the guy's been there forever.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
I mean, it feels like he's been there for 10 years. And they shut him out in the first half. I mean, Michigan did a good job in a lot of ways. And I think I was in the grand scheme of things, I thought that was a good win.
Yeah, it certainly was. And we're going to see tonight.
One other thing is Trey McKinney, I think, is right on the cusp.
Yeah.
Of emerging. I mean, there's been some scenarios where a freshman is, all of a sudden it's kicked. I mean, Derek Walton one time. It's all of a sudden became more his freshman year or his first year of actually playing. Emerged halfway through, and I think Trey McKinney is right there. Got a lot of skills indeed.
All right, so tonight, what kind of score are we looking at, do you think?
I think Michigan's going to win, like a 75-68, something like that, something like a 5-point win. And I think it's going to be more defensively. I think Michigan's going to focus on their defense. And as far as, Nebraska, they got to guard the perimeter. I mean, as far as stopping Nebraska, they got to switch their defense. They got to communicate, and they got to communicate in transitional defense when Nebraska bounds and tries to get that quick look for an open three, which Michigan has been vulnerable to. We saw that against Wisconsin. But Nebraska is different than Ohio State and Wisconsin because I don't think their guards are your traditional downhill guards. I mean, that Michigan's been vulnerable to. They're more perimeter guards. So, they're 5 wide on this in the offensive set. So, I think Michigan wins. I really do.
Tom, I saw the paper on Sunday, the Detroit paper, and it listed all the coaching salaries on the football side with the new staff.
Yeah.
And I'm a little old school. The amount of money that these guys are making as coordinators and even the position coaches.
Well, how about offensive line coach getting $1 million?
Yeah.
A position coach. That's very unusual. Michigan, I'm glad you brought that up because Friday night I went to I use my, I do what I normally do. I just hang out with people who are way smarter and way wealthier than I am. Okay, that's kind of what I do. I was invited to go to this big donor thing at the Ross Center up on level 4 in the football stadium before the basketball game. So I walk into this really elaborate event, and Kyle Whittingham spoke at this event. But before he went on, Ward Manuel gets up and first of all, Ward is working the crowd. He's working every table, glad handing, and he's got dollar signs in his eyeballs, literally. So he gets up there and he goes. He basically challenged all these deep-pocketed donors. He said, 2 years ago, of Ohio State's NIL was $10 million. Last year, it was $20 million. The coming year, it's going to be $40 million. So he was calling out Michigan donors, let's match that. That's what I was reading out of that thing. It was hilarious.
Oh boy.
Well, Tom, maybe it's sustainable at Michigan. When you start looking, let's just take the bottom half of the Big Ten or the bottom half of any of the Power Four teams in the country. How sustainable is it, you think, in the long run?
For NIL field.
Well, NIL and the ability to NIL all your athletes to pay the scholarships.
I know exactly how to answer your question. This is a different. Back in the day, the SEC, they paid their players, right? I mean, they cheated. Let's be real. They did it for decades. Now we got NIL, so we got legalized cheating, whatever you want to call it. And you pay your players. The thing about it is, guys, this is my theory, and I think it's true. The Big Ten alumni are way wealthier and more successful and smarter than the SEC. I'm just saying. There's 3 schools. I take that back. Out of all those schools in the SEC, there's only 4 schools that are comparable. They could be in the Big Ten and match the Big Ten's academic prowess, and that would be Florida, Georgia, Vanderbilt, of course, and the University of Texas. All those other schools are jokes academically, okay? You're breathing, you can get into those schools. So they got wealthier. We got more successful people up here who make more money, and that donor money is going to fuel athletics and research and all that other good stuff. That's my theory.
Speaking of Ward Manuel, have we heard anything on the investigation, where that's going, or if it's going?
Question of if it's going. Boy, I don't know yet on a hoodie and everything. You look relaxed. I don't know. I don't know where that's going, and I don't know if this firm is going to do the deep dive that people want to or think is justified. I do not know, but I'm getting the feeling he's going to be all right in terms of job retention. That's just my hunch, and I won't give an opinion either way if it's good or bad right now.
All right, Tom, we're out of time here, but we want to remind folks that they can get all of your content anytime, 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody going out my YouTube page, which is Tom's Take Community, all one word. Also on my Facebook page, where I have close to going on 6,000 followers. Just search Tom Crawford, all-purpose podcaster, and it'll pop up, and it's all to the public. But I appreciate you following that. And, boy, a lot of sports content this week. I got tons of it coming.
All right. Tom, we'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, Softy there. Pat Hayes running to Florida. Tough guys will stay up here and hold the fort.
There you go. All the tough guys are going to be here. Thanks, Tom. We'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. All right. See ya.
Tom